Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday, October 10th, 2021. My name is Teri Hunter, and I'm here on Lada's YouTube channel with messages from your angels, and astrology. Starting a little bit early today. I apologize for last week. I just had to take a me day. Nothing dramatic happened. I just was exhausted, to be honest. So I did. I took advantage of a me day. Good morning, Lyra. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Saturn goes direct today. Pluto's gone direct about a week from now or so. Mercury and Jupiter will be going direct. And as I see all this happening, I think about Saturn's really not going direct. It's starting to go direct. It's still stationing as it gears up and starts to get some momentum. So I think this is an opportunity for us to take what we have garnished over this retrograde period, which started in April and May. And now I think it's time to really start restructuring our thoughts and our belief systems to align with our deeper truth and what we want to experience. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Asia Nicole. Yes, it is Libra season. Happy birthday, all the Libras. I feel bad when I do that because I'm a Libra. I'm more aware of birthdays in October than I am maybe the rest of the year. So, and I wanted to talk, I was looking at the chart, the current chart right now, and I can't help but think about how as Saturn, starts to go direct, it is literally like preparing for its meeting with Uranus, the final meeting of the year. And this is going to happen in December, but it almost feels like when you're going for a big corporate presentation and you take all these months to gather your information and prepare, because whatever's going to take place in that meeting is going to set a trajectory for your future. And that's what I think is really gearing up. So Pluto continues its forward motion in Capricorn. That's the planet of structure and government. We have Saturn going direct in the planet or in the sign of independence and revolution and renovation, Aquarius. And then Jupiter, our beliefs, what we think, what we want to expand upon next week. So I want to give you this idea of thinking about setting an intention, not to create something per se, but to really look at your belief system about the creation thereof. Because I think as you can connect to that and root it and have that Saturnian long-term goal, nothing will deter me. I think we'll start to see things, evidence that we are the lighthouses on this planet during a time of great transformation. I hope all that's making sense. I feel a little choppy. Thank you, Mercury. Good morning, Pickles. Good morning, Sinac. That almost looks like it would be Cindy from Arkansas. I don't know. Good morning, Wolf. Good morning, Astro Ascension. Hi, Juan. Good to see you. Small Wildflowers is running a little late. Told her to take her time. She's driving on the road. Good morning, Claire. I said hi to Claire and Sharon. Okay, good. So welcome everybody to the group today. So my point and what I'm trying to get at everybody is that as we round out this last few months of 2021, I think it's really about starting to, Los Angeles. Okay, terrific. You're just up the street from me. Good morning, son of Hibbs. Okay, let me finish a thought. I feel like I'm in a constant state of distraction lately. My brain is just, I have no words. I'm like an idiot right now. I don't know what my problem is. Maybe I didn't have enough coffee this morning. I guess this is where I'm going with this because I've been thinking about this a lot. I think that Saturn wants to evolve just like everybody else, wants to be able to move its story forward. So I think that as we go start this next quarter of the year, which is going to culminate with that Saturn-Uranus square. That exact square is about getting prepared to align to a bigger picture of what I want to experience moving forward. And in doing that, I think it's more about that, like thinking about it from this point of view. What is the price I'm willing to pay to live my dreams? And I don't mean it in a negative way, but am I willing to have people not see my vision? Am I willing for them to sit in doubt of me while I continue to pursue my dream? And then they can figure it out later. Am I willing to appear wrong in order to be happy? How much of am I willing to have the outside world misunderstand my intention at this moment as I anchor into it and then give the universe an opportunity to open the doors for that? Because some people will very much dig into old structure. It'll be their safety net. It doesn't matter whether that structure is working for them or not. Well, now I feel my rhythm going. So this is where I'm going with this whole idea of being aware that as we move forward, this is an opportunity to connect with the deeper part of who and what we are. And rather than giving life to the fear, to the cloud of doubt that is shadowing the earth plane right now, think of yourself as a lighthouse for others. And as you stand in loving energy for the higher vibration, the wisdom of transformation, the wisdom of disruption, the wisdom of lifting the rug and letting the dust fly a little bit so that we can clear it out. And rather than feeling victimized by it, it's a tool to really see the deeper truth of how we all participate both in our abundance and in our lack. And we don't do it for punishment or a reward, but for the contrasting experience and to know how to vibrationally align to our deeper truth so that we can stand in that vibration for others to be invited to join us. I hope that made sense. Makes sense to me. Good morning, Rhonda. Good morning, Jazzy Thoughts. Good morning, Posted Up. Yuri, thank you for sharing with us about, what are you saying about Saul? Well, thank you for sharing that. Saul was actually Paul before he was Saul, so that's interesting. Good morning. Oh, I already said Jazzy Thoughts. Okay, I got everybody. Oh, I said hi to Asia Nicole. All right, here we go. I know I drive people crazy in the playback, but that's why Juan is so integral to our group, because he cuts through the muck of Teri's ADD. Thank you, Rico. All right, here we go. Let's start with Pisces and work our way towards Aries, as we do every week, except when Teri doesn't show up. She needs a break. And, the Pluto squares, I don't want to say they're making me tired, but just every once in a while, I need to break routine. Okay. And sometimes my weeks, my clients are, they're all going through these transits, and my clients don't always follow astrology, so they don't realize what's happening, that they're swimming through stormy skies. Okay, here we go. Pisces, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And for those of you that don't know why I say a stellium, if you have 3-4 planets in one sign or house, this is extremely important to pay attention to, because there's a focus in your chart indicating a choice you've made to address a certain area of your life for whatever reason. And the planets will tell you what that is. All right, Pisces, here we go. Our first angel is Rosetta. The second is Archangel Michael. The third is Astera. And the final is Celeste. Joining Rosetta is the Wind Fairy. Joining Archangel Michael is the Bee. Joining Astera is the Risk card. And joining Celeste is the burden card. Okay, so those of you that have watched the show for a while know that when Celeste comes up, I'm cutting right to the final position, and then I'm going to go back to start from the beginning. But this is Celeste represents a new home, new place of employment. I think of it as a shift in the mind, because wherever you put me on the planet, I am going to have a certain belief system, and I'm going to take my actions based on that belief. So, Pisces, there's the wind fairy talking about your mind, how you analyze things, how you think about things. And Rosetta is here. And I don't think this is about raising children right now. I think this is about a childlike innocence and going back to really examining how much percentage of time you're spending in your grown-up mind, observing and focusing in on the obstacles, focusing in on the challenges, focusing in on the hill to climb right now. We hear people say, oh, these are scary times. Humanity has experienced scary times over and over and over again. You know, the nature of being human is a little scary, to be honest with you. So now is a time to be courageous in your being energy, to look at what it is you believe about yourself and to move forward in that direction. And this is not about physical movement. It's about examining your belief system and starting to ask yourself, am I contributing to my own disruption because I'm so busy focused on the I can't, I don't have, I have suffered, that I am actually interrupting my own ability to live in the story that I want to. Astera says, reach for the stars, Pisces, with your dreams and desires, and don't compromise. It's time to risk. This is the question that today, this feels like asking yourself, what is the price I'm willing to pay to have my dreams come true? And that may be the prices I'm willing to sit in an uncomfortable place of my own thought. Because Celeste is saying that you're having a real challenge, a burden, shifting your thoughts. And that would make sense because all the planets have been stationing. Pluto has been stationing. Pluto went forward last week, or not even last week, a few days ago on the 6th, the same day as the new moon in Libra. So it is literally still gaining speed to move forward. It's not got any momentum yet. So Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums, how much are you willing to have a childlike innocence and really start to think about, why not me? When it's my turn now. Are my thoughts interrupting my ability to see the blessings that are coming my way? Because now is time to have courage to look at my own belief system and start to believe that I deserve to win. And that's the risk that you take. And in that risk, in the beginning, it's going to be hard for you because you're gaining momentum the same way Saturn, as it goes direct today, is gaining momentum. And Saturn is asking you, and I really believe Saturn is asking in its square to Uranus, the theme of 2021, to rewrite the structure of your lives and not to pull it down and complete demolition, but to renovate it. And this renovation looks like, I understand there were struggles at one point. But now, when do those struggles turn into the resources that allow me to shift and believe and to align that I am a co-creator? And my focus is my co-creation, not my doing energy, not my jumping up out of bed in the morning and hitting the pavement. It's, how do I feel when I hit that pavement? Okay. That's where I'm going with that. Now I'm going to go on to Aquarius. Good morning, Martina. It's wonderful to see you. It has been a long, long time. I was thinking about you the other day. M. Baines, good to see you back in the chat. Janine, nice to see you. Stephanie Ann, good to see you. Belladonna, did I miss anybody? Let me look real quick. Son of Hibbs, thank you for showing up. And I said hi to Pickles. I don't know what she meant by an overdose. Oh, Libra, you have a stellium. Anytime you have a stellium, Pickles, it is a very strong concentration of that sign's energy. So if you have a stellium in Libra, it's not just about marrying somebody and having a partnership. It's about cooperation and creating harmony and balance and fostering justice and fairness. Good morning, Joyce. I don't think I said good morning to you. All right, here we're going to go. For those of you that are new to my broadcast, good morning, Sharon. I'm sorry. I thought I said hi to you first thing. I apologize. So what I want to say is, oops. Okay, there we go. For those of you that are new here, we are, I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. I did this, I think, a year and a half ago during a Mercury retrograde, because everybody starts with Aries, and I'm an Aries rising and a Taurus moon. And I always kind of felt it was unfair for me to always get to start first. So I started going backwards. So we're going to go on to Aquarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Good morning, Ziramazia. I don't think I said that right, but I tried. Good morning, Reg. Here we go. Aquarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Lots of activity going on in your sign today, or this moving forward, this next little period of time. Good morning, sign of flow. All right, let's see what the angels have to say for you as Saturn goes direct. What opportunities to rewrite the structure do you have? What opportunity, Saturn rewards long term. Saturn, says you've worked hard, you've been diligent, you have been stoic in your willingness not to be deterred. So we have to start to really allow that vibration of Saturn to be its step forward versus depression and isolation and restriction. Because I think that restriction and isolation comes from walking down a path that doesn't serve you, that you don't really want to walk back down, but it's been trained or given to you or somehow. So this is where Saturn gets rough. So Saturn's like, look, I got new things on the table here, and I got a lot of reward for you, but you're going to have to be brave enough to move towards that reward. Good morning, Alaskan. Good morning, Kate. It's good to see you again. Good morning, Vera. All right, here we go. Aquarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Fiona. The second is Rosetta. The third is Teresa. And the final is Shanti. Well, thank you. Is it Kudia? Estrella, good morning. That stationing thing is to me, with Saturn moving as slow as it does, it feels like it's it's almost like watching slow motion. So that feels very powerful to me. And I feel like we've been going through that for probably 2 weeks. Fiona is being joined by the Joy card. Rosetta is being joined by the Baird. Teresa is being joined by the B card, and Shanti is being joined by the Protection card. I find so much fascination in the layers of these signs and what they offer us as a soul inhabiting a human experience, because we think of Aquarius as ruling space. Sometimes Aquarius I feel so alien on this planet, but the beautiful part about feeling that alien is that individuality that is different from everybody else. That's why I think you feel alien. Now, what else does Aquarius rule? Humanity. So you take that uniqueness, that alienness, and you bring it back into the collective and offer other people to be their own little aliens, kind of like that bar in Star Wars where everybody's from somewhere else and they're playing that crazy music, the original first Star Wars. Because I feel like Aquarius, it's really, I know Saturn's going backwards in your sign. Jupiter's been going backwards. They've been aspecting other planets. But now you've been asking God and the angels to feel a sense of joy. And I think that is the joy of your own expression freely, like kind of getting that, hey, I kind of like that I'm not like everybody else. And I think that I'm my own special color in the crayon box. And because of that, I'm asking everyone else, hey, you want to be your own color in the crayon box? Because I think now, normally I'll see the Baird as as the history we have, but now I think that today, for Aquarius, this is the enchantment of storytelling. This is the joy of music. I can't help but notice this child with her harp, and allowing this child to play the music of innocence, the music of new beginnings, the dance of a new song. And rather than feeling burdened by my history, it's an opportunity for me to look at it as a reference point. Put it in the rear view mirror. I don't want to back up into anything, so I need the rear view mirror. But I can't drive forward if I'm staring at my history in the rear view mirror, because the angels are saying now is the time really to stop worrying. Stop really worrying about other people's opinions, worrying about anything else, because now is the time to truly be you, because there's victory to be had in it. And I want to offer it this way, because I don't know that joy comes from an activity. Oh, I'm so joyous. I went and did this, as much as the freedom to be yourself, the freedom to feel the ease of that. Because when I go into the final position, I have Shanti, the angel of peace, and the protection card. And I feel like that's exactly in relation to the joy of being yourself. And I want to say it in such a way that I don't want to I don't want to take away that you're not yourself now, but I almost feel like it's even deeper levels of the permissions you give yourself. Um, I think I've mentioned in the last 6 months or so, maybe even a little bit longer, I don't know. I used to think that money made me feel safe. If I have enough money, I'll feel happy. And I had this epiphany one day that it really wasn't about money. It was about freedom. The freedom to make my own choices, the freedom to take the day off, the freedom to walk on the beach, the freedom to sleep in, the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. And it made me actually really aware of past lives where I have felt restricted, or I was enslaved to another's idea. And if you look at history, everybody, every race, every color, every ethnicity has been oppressed in some way or another, where somebody was beholden to another's agenda. So it was like, wow, I'm so excited to have this freedom of choice now. Nobody's telling me I have to get up and, milk a cow, or I have to get up and pick cotton, or I have to get up and blah, blah, blah. So, Aquarius, now that you've asked God and the angels to enjoy your self-expression, now it's time to receive that joy and to start singing a new song. Start to dance in almost the innocence of, children, when they go out and they're dressed, with polka dots on and a crown and stripes, and just, what we as adults appear crazy. We get such a kick out of little kids when they do that. We get such joy from it. And then we're adults and we're stupid or we're dumb. And I just feel like you got to stop caring about anybody else. Not to be rude, just to enjoy yourself, because the bee also represents good luck and victory. And the victory comes as you stop caring so much about what anybody else thinks, and that sense of peace. So there we go. All right, let's go into our Capricorns. Happy birthday, Janine, coming up. Yes, very much. I believe that old chapters are being wrapped up. And the wisdom that was garnished in those old chapters is what's giving life to the new beginning. And your birthday's the day before mine, or after mine. I'm sorry. So happy birthday, happy birthday. Okay, on to our Capricorns, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Here we go, where our Capricorns are in constant transformation to adopt more of a baby goat energy. I love that. I don't think you can actually, how when you hear music, you can't help but move, just something you want to tap your toes, you want to move a little bit. When you see a baby goat and it dances around, you cannot help but smile. And Capricorn, I bring that up because everybody kind of goes to all the old goat energy of Capricorn. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. And again, here we are, Saturn going direct, your ruling planet, saying, allow me the privilege of evolution as well. I'm still going to have the colors that I've always had. I'm still going to be, holding your feet to the fire. But don't blame me when you put that fire in a camp you don't like. That's what Saturn's saying. So put the fire in a camp you like. Thank you, Janine. All right, here we go. Capricorn, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Daniel, the angel of partnership. Second, in the opportunity of the obstacle, is Maya, the angel of education. Our third angel is Rosetta. That's 3 for 3. And the final position is Astera. Okay. Let's see what Daniel wants to say, because Daniel represents the angel of a marriage, of partnership. We have some activity going on in Libra right now. Mercury is in Libra right now. I think Mars is still in Libra as well. I have today's chart up. Let me look real quick. Libra, yes, we have Mars, Mercury, and obviously the sun. Duh. And the sun and Mars and Mercury are, sun's at 17 degrees, Mars is at 16, Mercury is at 15. That's pretty significant. So let's see. Because Daniel also represents your history in partnership. And partnership for Libra is not just marriage, it's contracts, it's legal contracts. So it can be work partnerships, it can be commitments that have a signature attached to them in the way of a contract. So we're going to look at your power and strength, Capricorn, and how you're using it in partnerships. We have Maya being joined by the B card. We have Rosetta being joined by the communications card. And we have Astera being joined by the truth card. Okay. So Daniel will talk about your history, and the dragon will talk about your power and strength in this. And I want to say this. Capricorn sometimes can see such clarity. It rules leadership, it rules government, it rules, authority, it rules leadership in many ways as a 10th house. But I think this is about really reviewing if you are using your power calmly. Are you using it from an inspired way to create partnerships, or are you in some ways being habitual in your energy and how you're showing up? This is not, I'm not saying this about Capricorn, but what I've seen sometimes in relationships is that when girls get hurt, they tend to punish. I don't think that they realize they're punishing, but and I say this not to be judgy about that, but it's not very effective. It doesn't really work in making somebody want to align to you. So when you're inspiring, because Saturn in its lower energy could be punishing. It could be depressing. It could be, isolating. And I think Capricorn is learning, Maya, the energy of education and schooling, about your being energy. And as you sit in your being energy in a way of a little bit more patience and inspiration versus being more holding people to the rules. Because in the angel's advice is to be childlike in your communication. And this is not about being naive. It's more about talking to people, and not condescendingly, but inspiringly. We want to inspire children to rise to their highest vibration. And we want to do that in our relationships as well with adults. When people become adults, we become more impatient. We become more hardcore. It's like we expect them to know things that maybe they haven't really had an opportunity to incorporate, because Astera is saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires. And there's the truth card. And I think this truth is that you are more effective in your relationships when you're calmer, more. I'm looking at the dragon. It's not about not expressing yourself, but not going to a place of being too rough in relationships. Now, let me go here. We've got the Sun and Mars and Mercury all lined up in Libra today. So as those planets start to move, and I know we're talking about Saturn moving direct, it's giving you an opportunity, Capricorn, as your ruling planet goes direct, to look at the structure of how you communicate in a way that benefits both sides. Win-win. That's what I think this is about. And even though you may know how the rules go, it might be time for you to start to think about the rules being based on win-win. That's where I'm going with it. And I think what you're going to do is you're going to find more cooperation with more ease. Where before you might have had to struggle to get cooperation, I think you're going to see more cooperation. Okay, so let's go on to our Sagittariuses, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay. Wow, Janine. We have the same rising and moon. I don't know if you guys watch The Real Housewives. I'm about to true confessions of a Wednesday night watcher. I didn't start watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills until Kathy Hilton got on the show, and I just find her to be so funny. She says the funniest things. So I was curious because she's born the same year I am. She's born in March. I knew that. So I went and looked at her birth chart. Because obviously we're going to have all our outer planets in the same place. We're born within 6 months of each other. And we have our moon at the exact same degree, 9 degrees Taurus, Kathy and I, and she's an Aries rising as well. And I thought that was just crazy because she's a Pisces and I'm a Libra. So she has an interesting way of she talks in code, which I think is funny because Pisces rules the 12th house of sort of, things that are in the privacy of the bedroom. And I'm a Libra, so I'm sort of, anyway, I've run off. All right, here we go. Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Isabella in the foundational position. The second is Maya, which is ruling education. Fiona is in the angel's advice, and Xana, the angel of protection, is in the final position. Joining Isabella is the deer. Joining Maya is the communications card. Joining Fiona is the joy card. And joining Xana is the lady of the lake. Okay, here we go. Welcome, Spree Zach. Did I say hi to Rhonda? Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Sabrina. Okay. All right, so Sagittarius, we have Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. Happiness awaits your, what does it say? Your positive expectation. Okay, and then we have the deer, and I don't think this is about fear, but I think this is about gentleness and diplomacy as you endeavor new dynamics, not just in what you want to experience, but in your belief system, in how, when I look at Sagittarius, your ruling planet, Jupiter, is going direct in the sign of renovation, Aquarius, and it's heading towards Pisces. So I feel as if there is going to be this opportunity for you to go into this sort of deeper layer of your spiritual body and implementing that into the earthly experience, because Maya is the card of schooling and education, and communication is literally the law of attraction, because what we focus in on, what we communicate to ourselves with our thoughts, our words, our what we read, it's going to start to manifest. And I think that you're starting to, if you're new on the planet, or at least new this time around, or maybe this whole idea of the retrogrades has brought an illumination of some kind for Sagittarius to move into foreign territory within the way you communicate to yourself. Because now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving, and there's the joy card. And I absolutely believe that the disruption that we've been experiencing as a as a planet has been really about breaking away old structures that haven't served our joy, that have served our dutifulness, our obligation. Saturn in its old incarnation. And as Saturn evolves with the rest of us and says, look, I'm always going to ask you to work hard. I'm always not really going to care if you're enjoying yourself. But I am going to say, if you're working hard in the lane you want, in this new endeavor that will make you happy, and you yourself are gentle with yourself. This is the key to a new endeavor. This is the key to Saturn transformed. You have to know what the carrot is down the road. You have to know what it is you're striving for and the price you're willing to pay in order to achieve that. And that's where Saturn might feel like it gets rough. I have to be willing not to say, when will my boyfriend show up? When will my career show up? When is the day it will happen? Saturn doesn't give a shit what day it is. Saturn says, are you in it to win it? Because if you are, the day won't matter. It will only matter that the experience happens. Pardon my language. Because Sagittarius, you're being protected as you stand courageous in that deeper truth. And the courage doesn't come from standing to the outside world, but from going through this constant, turmoil between your head. There's the windy, the wind element blowing around her hair. That's your thoughts and how you feel emotionally. I believe, I don't believe. I trust, I don't trust. Oh, holy moly. I don't see any evidence yet. And yet there she is holding Excalibur, the sword of truth, with a gentle hand. A gentle hand. The greatest thing you can ever do for yourself is have compassion as you stand in a place of unknowing and give yourself permission to discover the journey versus imprinting the human experience. If it doesn't happen by this time, it's not going to happen. This is part of the rewrite that's going on, the Uranus-Saturn square. Okay, let's go on to our Scorpios, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Good morning, Jenny B. It's good to see you. Good morning, Debbie. Did I say hi to you? I don't think I did. Okay, good to see some of our OGs in the chat. All right, here we go. Scorpio, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Good morning, Dash. That's what I'm going to call you now. It's good to see you. All right, here we go. Scorpio, our first angel is Maya. The second is Yvonne. The third is Chantal. And the final is Archangel Gabriel. I think a lot about Pluto. Pluto's making so many aspects to me from now. I mean, has been for, oh my God, the last 4 or 5 years. Oh, no, excuse me. The last 62 years, if I go back to my natal chart and all the transits that Pluto has made. And as I have been here on Sunday mornings with y'all, it's just propelled me to educate myself about what Pluto is. And it's not that bad, but it's terrible at the same time. And I say that only because Scorpio, Pluto's your ruling planet, and you're getting schooled in education about the spider here. And the spider is relationships for me. Yvonne is being joined by the wealth card. Chantal is being joined by the bee card. And the owl is being joined by Archangel Gabriel. I don't know why when I started using this deck, the spider became a relationship card for me. I just kept seeing that web. I kept seeing the world wide web. I kept seeing how it connects us all and gives us an opportunity to join as a tribe on Sunday mornings, to connect over the internet. Bumble. That's so funny. Bumble. There's Chantal, the angel of romance, and the bee card, but we'll get there in a minute. Because Scorpio, this is what I want to offer you. Maya is the angel of schooling and education, and the spider is, for me, the card of relationships. And And I think one of the challenges of being a Scorpio is that you know things and you can feel things that you don't want to know, the darker side, and when that is hitting you personally, I think you sometimes don't want to see it. And there's no one, there's no harm, no foul. Everybody's like that. But at the same time, there's a frustration that builds with the Scorpio because that inner knowing nags you. It won't let you go because you know better. And I don't mean it in a judgy way. I mean it in a soul's way. I feel like when you have a strong Scorpio influence, you've chosen a life of transformation, of masterhood. And maybe sometimes that masterhood comes from the vulnerability of your inner knowing. And that's where your true harmonious wealth comes. So, Scorpio, how much are you willing to truly admit to yourself what you know about the relationships in your life? And maybe there's specific relationship that we're talking about right now as Saturn moves forward, as we are continuing to rewrite the structure that's going on with this Uranus Saturn square that is, I feel like the planets are preparing like it's a huge meeting coming up in December, and we are already doing our research, getting our precedences set, doing the PowerPoint presentation for this meeting. And the more prepared we are, and that's why I think this tribe is so powerful, the more we can walk through it consciously and be agents of transformation for masterhood. Because the angels are saying that Chantal is the angel of romance, and I absolutely think this is about love and relationships. And this is about victory and about my being energy. And the being energy comes from me being vulnerable to the inner knowing of what I want. And in the final position, we have Archangel Gabriel talking about communication, and we have the owl, the good news and the bad news, the yes and the no. There is a yes and a no to everything. And I think at this moment, it's allowing Scorpio to go to a deeper level. And the deeper level is to say, am I feeling and thriving in my relationships? And if indeed I can say yes to that, great. And if I have to say no to that, am I willing to be brave? And then there's the in-between place, Scorpio, where everything that feels good has a little bit of, challenge in it. There's this in-between place where everybody comes in doing the best they can. And sometimes you have to look at the landscape of the person or the situation and say, is this really going to sustain me, or will I eventually die in the desert of this relationship? That's kind of where I'm going with this. So as Saturn goes direct today and asks us to start to walk a more authentic path, it isn't about breaking up relationships. It's more about the relationship you have with yourself about relationships and how much you believe in the value of your own participation within that relationship. Okay, let's go on to our Libras, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, here we go. Our first angel is Oceana. The second is Grace and Antoinette. The third is Rochelle. And the final is Francesca. As a Libra rising, your seventh house is going to be Aries. And I only know that because I'm a Libra sun and I have the whole thing the opposite. And I feel like with Chiron transiting the seventh house of Aries for Libra rising, what are we learning about relationships? What are we learning about what I want in relationships? And I want to offer it this way because Libra, they talk about marriage, and I'm really been tending towards harmony, lately. I've been tending towards the idea of compromise creating a win-win. And Libra in its more shadow side can be passive aggressive. It's non-confrontational. So it does, sometimes it doesn't stand up for itself. So here we have Oceana for Libra rising moon, sun, and stelliums. We have Oceana saying you're in touch with your truth in this situation and follow it. And there's the reconciliation card. You guys know me for a while. I don't really see forgiveness as much as I see it as wisdom. As I reconcile an experience, I turn victimhood into a tool that I can use to support a bigger picture of what I want. And that in this instance, this is trusting my intuition and rising towards it, because we have that echoed even more in the opportunity, the obstacle, as we have compassion, not only for the other person in our relationship, but for our own vision of what we want. And realizing that that compassion is wanting to be coming from my heart in partnerships, wanting to expose a deeper part of my heart, not just a superficial part of my heart. And now I have to say, how much do I believe that? Because Francesca says, what do you desire right now? Visualize it, because negativity will block your progress. And then we have the perception card. And that's why I go back to this idea of Libra following their heart, actually getting a reconciliatory experience. So let's say you're a Libra of a certain age and you haven't experienced partnership yet. Are you really out of the game? Or are you one of the souls that have chosen to have these experiences at later chapters so that you can stand not only for your own joy and happiness, but for inspiring others to continue to have faith and hope in their dreams? And as you've demonstrated compassion for yourself to a deeper knowing, you don't need to sit in sadness. Your heart tells you that what you really want is on its way. And there's a wisdom to the other person's journey as well, because their journey has been one of such that it will create an appreciation for you. So let's now just real quickly think about the idea that Chiron, they call that the wounded healer. I don't like the word healer anymore, because I feel like there is a wisdom to whatever challenges or dark side there is. So I want to call it the reconciler. They're looking at the wound and finding out how that wound will empower me. What was I pretending not to know in that situation that created the wound in the first place? Because maybe as a Libra, I wasn't really following my heart. And now as I do that, rather than creating disruption, I see that it was my perception that was getting in the way, and that maybe other people or other parties are more in alignment to that than I realized. Or by me being in alignment to it, Spirit brings someone in my experience that has that same dynamic. All right, let's go on to our Virgos. We're rewriting the world right now, people. Let's rewrite it the way we want it, not the way we think it's possible. Dreamers. Nothing but a dreamer. Did I just put a Supertramp song in your head? Hi, CJD. Hi, Estrella. Hi, Joshua. Oh, Small Wildflowers is just, she's running errands and such. I think she's good. All right, here we go. Virgo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Maya. The third is Oceana. And the final is Opal. Thank you. I can't say that right. Zeramazia? I think I'm saying that right. Hi, Celestia. Exactly, Jenny. Oh my goodness. I love it when people know my generational songs. Okay, here we go. Virgo, Caressa is being joined by the cat. Maya's being joined by the Joy card. Oceana's being joined by the Fear card. And Opal's being joined by the Perception card. Caressa talks about being at the end of a life cycle, the new happiness awaits you. And then I have the cat, Virgo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. There's a sense of independence that I feel the cat is representing healthy boundaries in order for you to feel happy and thriving within this next chapter of your life. You know, I feel like sometimes we get to a place in our lives where we realize that people have a certain way of being, and that way of being is not going to change. And in order for me as a Virgo to feel joy, I kind of have to pay attention to that. And rather than trying to change something, I'm giving myself a little breathing room with it. I feel like the Joy card comes as a result of learning how to have healthy boundaries in a way that doesn't feel like it's actually exiling someone else or creating discord with another. Because Oceana, here again, we see her rising through the ocean because she talks about taking action. You're in touch with your truth and to lovingly assert yourself. And I don't think this is about asserting yourself to the other party. It's about asserting yourself in having healthy boundaries. Okay. And here I want to take this Fear card and change it to face everything and rise. But it's face emotional things and rise, because your emotional body is telling you something about how you feel joy. And sometimes we may love people. I can't help but look at this Opal card and see children. I see my inner child and the perception. And sometimes we perceive ourselves as the children that we were at one point. And those relationships have their own life. So I want to put it this way, Virgo. I see Caressa and the cat telling me that I'm at the end of a life cycle. And as I've evolved, I have to realize and have healthy boundaries with those in my life that may not be consciously evolving. So as I do, I understand that to create joy, not just for myself, but for the other party, those healthy boundaries are important, because otherwise we're running up against the same issues and triggering each other over and over again. So I'm going to take care of my emotional body, because, Virgo rules being of service, and it may feel like you're being of service to put your body somewhere, but maybe you're really not being of service. And by facing your emotional body and rising to the occasion of it, you realize that a little bit of healthy distance is good for everybody, and we get to have a more childlike energy in the relationship as we move forward, because there's a breath of air. And I want to say this, I feel like it's anywhere that Virgo is feeling a little bit pinched, a little bit trapped. Trapped is the word I want to use. Okay, so here we go on to our Leos, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Joshua, you're in Orange County. In what state? Lots of states have orange counties. Okay. Leo, yes, it's your turn. Leo, right? Oh, no. Yeah, Leo. Huh. My brain lately. All right, here we go. My state. Ooh. All right. Under the orange curtain. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying, never say never, because if you say never, you can bet it'll happen. I used to say I would never live in Orange County, California. And now I'm here 18 years, or a little longer, if you count the first stint I was here. All right, here we go. Leo, our first angel is Layla. The second is Rosetta. The third is Athena. And the final is Shanti. Ooh. All right. Layla is being joined by the Earth Fairy. Rosetta is being joined by Merlin. Athena's being joined by the Love card. And Shanti's being joined by the Restriction card. You know, when I look at this, I actually feel like I'm addressing a kind of a bigger picture. I feel like the Earth Fairy is really representing the Earth right now, and literally the physical experience we're having and the physical challenges we're having with the news, the media. We are on Leo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums, because Leo rules fun, it rules entertainment, it rules children. And if you are in California, you know that there's been a lot of mandates that have been implemented that I think have a lot of controversial energy attached to them. And so I feel like for my Leos that are ruled by the sun, there's a very good possibility that that Spirit is saying, talk to us about what you really want when it comes to the idea of your physical body, about how the world, because I want to say this, while this to me feels a little scary to see all these Saturnian restrictions coming and all these making it really difficult to feel the freedoms that Leo likes, I feel like there's a wisdom to that. And that and that Leo that rules children, okay, and I think this may be about children, we have to trust a little bit that our children that are walking through this chapter of disruption are bringing justice. Okay, they are part of the team of souls that have chosen to be here at a time to create a dynamic where those in charge will have to lovingly assert themselves to create balance, because there will be peace through this restriction. So I'm being a little bit cryptic here because I don't want to get flagged with certain words. But what I'm saying, Leo, is that I think that if you're a parent, if you are contemplating being a parent and then looking at the things that are going on with the world and how we are, the trickle down effect to our children, I feel like this is really about understanding that the imbalance is going to create balance. There's been this chapter of disempowering the human experience and the ability of this vessel to know how to course correct when it's aligned. So now, rather than allowing the fear of this to overwhelm you, I think it's about focusing in on that this will soon come, that this restriction that we're feeling is actually ushering in a stronger dynamic of peace. It almost feels as if it's going to become so pressurized that the pressure is part of the Saturn-Uranus square. So let's keep our eyes on the big prize here. I think we absolutely need to start to think that, I think for Leo, as the leader and the sun, starting to concentrate on the idea that the body knows what to do. Now let's fuel it that way. I'm a little concerned about that dynamic, to be honest with you. I think it's going to, we'll just see. I don't want to be a naysayer. Excuse me. Let's go on to our Cancers. Oh yeah, there's a lot going on, guys. Yes, Joshua, I do. I absolutely do. Absolutely. Many birds, I agree. And I think that what we're going to see is that deeper level of freedoms that I think a lot of the human experience has touched on the conceptual dynamics of freedom. When we look at even the history of the United States, we fight for freedom for some, and while others are being restricted. And I feel like this is a deeper levels of that coming to balance. And while we're not seeing it in the form of actual physical slavery here in this country, now these mandates are starting to feel like they're scooting that direction. So I feel like we will see changes as a result of that. Small will be here. She's running errands. She's just got a busy morning. So, we all need a day off, and I guess we never know when it's going to come. All right, here we go. Yes, indeed, William, things are brewing. There's no doubt about it. And we get to be agents of peace by having a bigger picture. Okay. Cancer. Our first angel is Athena. The second is Shanti, the angel of peace. The third is Archangel Uriel. And the final is Rosetta. A lot coming up about children today, about the child energy. Cancer, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Joining Athena is the horse. Joining Shanti is the butterfly. Joining Ariel is the high priestess. And joining Rosetta is the hawk. When I look at this Cancer, the first thing I think of is when I see the horse, I don't necessarily think I'm going to be, accepting help from another human or delegating authority to another human, as much as I have to lovingly assert myself to Sagittarian qualities. I have to start to really think, what do I believe? What is my truth? What is my faith? Where is my faith? Does my faith empower me or disempower me? Because I believe that faith that empowers you is aligned, but faith that disempowers you will create more and more frustration for you. So I feel like now is a time to go into a space of being very mindful of what creates peace for you and doing whatever you need to do in the way of transforming into that dynamic that fosters peace. I don't like to watch the news, Mystery Singer, because I know there's a certain amount of it that I have to pay attention to because there's so many changing dynamics in the world. But literally, I start having anxiety, and Uranus is not near my moon anymore. It's 4 or 5 degrees away, but it's retrograde, and it's still been doing this weird hovering, and I don't like that feeling of anxiety that is coming as a result of these things going on. I don't need to tell any of you, because I'm looking at this Cancer, and here's anger and frustration. And then we have the high priestess, which talks about a deeper vision. This is a very spiritual energy. And I feel like there is a little bit of you that you're going to have to allow yourself to go into this sort of cocooned place and in order to foster peace. Otherwise, you're going to be in a constant state of nervousness. And then the crab is going to go back and forth and not know what to do. And that will inadvertently trigger the lower energies of Cancer. So it's going to be about rising above the situation. And I want to offer this because I'm not even sure this is about a childlike innocence right now. It's about trusting the soul that inhabits the child's body, and to see a bigger picture as you lovingly assert yourself into your connection about your beliefs, and then trust that those beliefs are in some ways a vibrational protection, shield, from other things, from the masses, from the mass energy. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And then be mindful, be wise in balance. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if you're protecting yourself from such a fear-based place, it's not really protecting yourself. Your vibration has more ability to protect you. So it's your vibration, your belief, your dynamic, and then your actions as a result of that. That's where I'm going. Okay, on to our Geminis, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, Joshua, sending love and light to you. As a Leo, you have oppositions in Aquarius. So depending upon your chart, I don't know what is in your house of Leo, but your sun is there. And depending upon the degree, you could be feeling the opposition to Jupiter, the opposition to Saturn. There could be all sorts of things going on. All right. Gemini, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Here we go. CJD, they're calm because they haven't watched TV in 15 years. They're not being pulled into the circus. Because there's so much fear. I mean, honestly, I have to tell you guys, if I was to take up arms in any way, I would really want to do something about these drug commercials on TV, and not just, as a result of the virus, but what's been going on, because it's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. And I think that you should not go to your doctor and ask for drugs. You could go to it's illegal to go to a corner and ask your drug dealer for drugs. Why should you go to your doctor? Your doctor should look at you, assess your physical being, and then prescribe something that way, not you going in. That's crazy. And there's just too many side effects. So yeah. Oh, I would be a crusader, but I don't want to get caught up in the nonsense of the darkness of that. I want to continue to try to hold the light for it. And I find myself struggling with that, especially since they've come up with these new drugs for the tics that your antidepressants are giving you. All right. That's what I think, Just Call Me C. I agree. All right. I'm trying to change my vibration because hating it is actually not good either. I have to see somehow that those commercials are illuminating the imbalance that we're living through right now. And as we see that imbalance, we're going to start to say, I don't know about that. I don't want to go that way. I'm done. All right. Gemini, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Your first angel is Yvonne, the angel of vulnerability. The second is Anna, the angel of protection. The third is Shanti, the angel of peace. And the final is Archangel Gabriel. I love oregano oil. I love it. I started making that concoction with honey and turmeric and ginger and vanilla, the natural antibiotic. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, here we go. Gemini, Yvonne, the angel of vulnerability, is being joined by the love card. Xana, the angel of protection, is being joined by the frog, the releasing of emotional baggage. Shanti, the angel of peace, is being joined by the cow, representing nourishment, abundance, asking and receiving. And Archangel Uriel is being joined by the fire fairy. Gemini, I want to say this. You are ruled by Mercury, and you're like Virgo, but it's different because you have that twin dynamic. So your mind goes from one side to the other, contemplating this and that. And ultimately, if you're stuck enough in the human body, you're going to defer to the scary stories. The ones there where you don't win, where, experience has taught you over and over again that whatever your story is. But now is a time, Gemini, to be vulnerable to your idea of love and to start to give life to the idea that maybe disruption in love is actually a quicker path to actually the commitment of love. Sometimes we learn more about our partners or about our belief in love when we are going through a challenging time. And sometimes, I watch TikTok a lot lately, and I see these guys and they have such wisdom about relationships. And I love that they're out there making these videos, because sometimes a little space, sometimes a disruptive path actually teaches somebody about how and who we are. And that makes them more invested in us. And Gemini may get nervous about that part of the journey, and your mind starts going blah, 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 blah. No. Because now Zan is saying you're being protected from emotional harm. And it's an opportunity for you to jump from one lily pad to another and not bring your old story into this new story. And to start to think that maybe disruption is an opportunity for me to demonstrate my character to somebody. And in doing so, I bring in more peace and more nourishment and more abundance. Because I think, Gemini, that you have an opportunity to walk past the frustration of yesteryear and to go into that optimistic and more inspired thought that, you know what, if I truly love this person or want to love this person or love this dynamic, maybe I'm giving them the privilege of a little space, or the privilege of the benefit of the doubt, or the privilege of not needing them constantly giving me that physical rush to know that I'm valuable in their life, that I can actually take a back seat to another situation and know that that is me demonstrating love to them that will make or allow them to love me more wholly. Sometimes I think that we just think that, the more we talk about a problem, the more we're connected to another person. And I think sometimes when we talk about a problem too much, we're kicking in the law of attraction in a way we don't want to. So, Gemini, being vulnerable to love in a bigger picture, being able to see that maybe you're being protected because what you're doing is you're walking through an emotional dynamic that allows someone to see your true character. And that's the character under stress, the character under doubt, the character under, I don't know if I'm winning or losing right now. But what I am going to do as a Gemini is to believe that I have been calling forth peace and abundance within my relationships. And rather than allowing myself to be frustrated because I can't see, touch, taste, read, see my texts, I'm going to have an inspired thought. And I'm going to know that when I review the actual circumstances involved, that there's no reason for me to worry. There's no reason for me to go down a story, a path that doesn't serve me in this situation. And if indeed the opposite is coming, for instance, the messages that are coming are distasteful, and you can feel that inner knowing that says, I need to be vulnerable to the bigger picture of what I really want, and walk away. And when I walk away knowing what I'm walking towards. So I'm not walking away into an abyss of darkness and sadness and an old story. I'm walking towards declaring, I'm good, because I got me. Okay, let's go on to Taurus, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Who's hunky-dory? I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. All right. Taurus, here we go. I laugh at my Taurus moon every once in a while. When I watch her dig her heels in. Joshua, South Node in Taurus. First thing I thought of was a pioneer. Working the land. Maybe a farmer, a miner. Okay, here we go. Bye, William. Have a wonderful week. See you next week. All right, here we go. Taurus, Merlina is our first angel. Archangel Gabriel is in the opportunity of the obstacle. Crystal is in the angel's advice. And finally is Archangel Raphael. All right. Welcome, Teresa. Crystalline, welcome. Well, thank you, Katerina. Sending love and light to you. Oops. All right, Taurus, let's see what Merlina is saying you're confused about. All right, we have the letting go card there, which is not about letting go. We have Archangel Gabriel being joined by the dragon. We have Crystal being joined by Merlin. And we have the king coming out with Archangel Raphael. So the first thing I want to say is I cannot tell you how often Merlin and Merlina come together. And Merlina talks about confusion, and yet here we have this grand wizard here sitting on the face of the card, the yin and the yang symbol. I think that the confusion comes from not knowing how powerful I am in my creation. And here's the letting go card, which for me, Taurus, is really the let it go song from the movie Frozen. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. You know, the sign Taurus rules security, rules my possessions, the second house by nature, and on some level it rules insecurity, because Taurus wants to know that it has all the resources necessary. And I think what this is saying today is that you have all the resources that are necessary as you step away from your fear and into your ability to see what you can do, to test the limits, to break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for Taurus, because here's a time to really start to talk about your power and your strength and what you have in the way of being a co-creator, and to engage Archangel Gabriel to help you release those insecurities so that you can stand strong in your ability to create, because now Merlin is showing up and there is alchemy, justice, and balance, and it's coming through a sense of faith. But the faith is not in somebody riding up and saving your ass. It's in your own ability to create. And I want to offer this because as I've aged, and I will be officially finished my 62, 62nd solar return next week, I realize that I'm co-creating whether I know it or not. I'm co-creating by my thoughts. So if I'm willing to be stubborn in the thoughts that serve me and be more flexible in the thoughts that don't serve me, I will again find more justice and balance and a sense of healing through this epiphany. We see through Merlina and Merlin, we see justice coming up for Taurus. We see balance coming up for Taurus. And we see it again in this king, because he rules justice and balance. And while this may be partially a physical situation, the physical will follow the mental inspiration. So let me offer it this way, because it's the combination of giving life to the idea that your security comes from your ability to align to the bigger picture of what you want. And if indeed, for some reason, Taurus moon, Taurus rising, sun, and stelliums is feeling physically challenged during this time, then you will learn more about how your body is fueled, and you will start to pay attention to what you eat. And this doesn't mean you can't enjoy food anymore. It just means that you get to explore new avenues and new dynamics to support that physical body. Okay, let's go on to our final sign, Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And as I do, I'm just going to say one more thing for Taurus, because I am a Taurus moon. I love food. I lived by butter for many years, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to enjoy anything if I can't have butter. And I found some alternatives to butter that made me not miss butter so much. And ice cream. There's this great coconut bliss ice cream that's delicious. Doesn't feel like there's no dairy in it. So, I think that can help Taurus a little bit. All right, here we go. Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. A lot of stuff going on for Aries with Chiron transiting your house and Pluto squaring you. So much opportunity for you to dig past the ridiculous label of Aries always being aggressive. Yes, you have the ability to be aggressive. Yes, you have the ability to go to war, and you do represent that in the zodiac, but it is not the sole dynamic of what Aries is. Aries is courageous. Aries is brave. Aries is the pioneer. And you can't be any of those things without being slightly aggressive. Sorry. All right. First angel is Maya. The second is Omega. The third is Teresa. And the final is Chantal. Well, let's see. Maya is being joined by the Love card. Omega is being joined by the Burden card. Teresa's being joined by Merlin. And Chantal is being joined by the Restriction card. I want to offer this. You know, as an Aries rising myself, I cannot even tell you how long people have told me I was too hostile, I'm too forceful. When I was in the age of procreation and everybody getting married, I used to always hear how I intimidate men, blah, blah, blah. Because this is what I want to say. Aries, I think Maya is teaching you about self-love. I think that it's time to stop, thinking of yourself as this big old pain in the ass, too assertive, too this, too that. Yes, you have that ability. But let me tell you, there's plenty of people on the other side of the fence, whether you're a man as an Aries or a woman or, whatever, because the combinations are endless nowadays. You will find your person, your tribe, love, whatever the case may be. And it's time to start to loving yourself a little bit more. I have thought about this a lot. I've thought about, there's a gal I know whose voice, she's a Scorpio and she's got a Cancer rising, and she talks so sweet. She talks so nice. I always sound very Teri. I mean, you just see my assertion coming from a mile away, the way I walk, everything about it. And I started to really judge myself. I started to really think, that Aries is just too much. But, I don't know if it is. And if I keep agreeing with it is, I'm going to keep drawing in people that think it's too much. It's time for me to start to think of myself as victorious, and not victorious over others, but victorious over the burden of my own perception of myself. To stop thinking about what everybody else, how they interpret me. Because I'm going to tell you this, I'm actually very easygoing. But when you feed me a bunch of BS, I literally choke on it and it comes back out. So now I'm learning how to balance and to alchemize the relationships I have with others so that I can feel victorious, not because of their version of me, because people who are easily victimized will find me to be too much. They'll think I'm too confident. I'm too cocky. I'm really not. I'm just me. So this is where, in the final position, this is Aries. It's time to stop restricting yourself from love in general. It's time to learn that love can look different and that love doesn't have to be just like everybody else has it. And I want to offer it this way because it's not somebody that will love you because you're too much or you're too assertive. It's somebody who will compliment you, who won't even bring up that you're too much because they won't even think it or feel it. So, Aries, this is where I'm going with this. I think that this Saturn going direct is giving you an opportunity to renovate your belief as Jupiter goes direct in who and what you are, and to start to embrace it. Because I think if you embrace it, you won't feel so fiery. You won't feel, because I think sometimes, Aries, I know for myself, that I can tend to get even more Aries-like in trying to let someone see that I'm not the bad side of Aries. It's kind of a conundrum. So this is an opportunity to really look at yourself and to see how you've been educated. Because from the time I can remember, my dad used to say my standards were too high. I expected too much from people, that people were, flawed, that they would take the low road before the high road. And I'm like, that's a choice, Dad. Why don't they just take the high road? And my dad had his son conjunct Neptune. So of course he was fine with it. He's like, that's how people are. So Aries, I want to offer this. As Saturn goes direct, I want you to start to really think about, am I perpetuating the story that I'm too much? Am I perpetuating the story that it's a burden to be around someone like me because I'm too forceful? Because I don't think that's true anymore. And I think that as you start to rewrite that story within your own heart, you will find people that appreciate who you are, and they don't stoke or fuel the challenging parts of you, but rather they embrace the courage that you have and how you stand loyal by their side when they need you and when you need them. Okay, that's it for this week. I'll be back next week. And technically, when we do this broadcast, I'll still be sort of 62 years old because I'm not born till 5:20 p.m. So, but anyway, it'll be my birthday. I'll be with y'all on my birthday. So I hope you'll join me. And I hope everybody has a great week and a conscious week. And sending lots of love to you all. And to Small Wildflowers, we missed you, but we're glad that you got the day off. We all need a day off. And we'll see you soon, everybody. So take care. Peace out.